This is Carl Reed, college sports analyst with 24/7 Sports. Here with my guest, Carey Davis, former Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Big Ten champion at the University of Illinois, head football coach at both of our alma mater, Hazelwood Central, and co-host of the Opening Drive show on ESPN. And you are now watching Real Talk with Coach Reed live. Carey, what's up, my boy?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
So it's got to be a good time for you, Illinois, sitting at 4-1. I know you're excited about that.
Yeah, anytime the Illini are playing well, it's a good day for me. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the game this weekend against Iowa at home. Saturday night, we had a big win last week against Wisconsin. And so, they got things moving in the right direction.
Let me ask you this question right off the top. Chase Brown is the greatest Illinois football player since who?
I mean, for me, my mind automatically goes to running backs. And so I'm gonna go with another former Pittsburgh Steeler in Rashard Mendenhall. Rashard did a fantastic job at the University of Illinois, had a very good career in the NFL, and he ran that football, man. And what Chase Brown is doing right now, I don't want to speak too soon, but if the Illini keep on this pace, this path, and Chase keeps on the same path that he's on this pace that he's on, we could be having a Heisman conversation. So, he's leading the college football to FBS in rushing right now. He's playing very, very well. So I'm excited to continue to watch him in the Illini uniform.
Should the University of Illinois have a Heisman campaign for Chase Brown? Should they start that and get behind him?
Yeah. I mean, especially if you're winning. Obviously, for me, if you're going to be the best player in football, you got to be on a winning team in football as well. And right now, as you said, we sit at 4-1. We take care of business this weekend against another Big Ten opponent in Iowa. And you move to 5-1, and he has another outstanding game. I know that he's on the Doak Walker list, award list. He's been running the hell out of the football, man. So I'm excited to see him, and I think the Illini Nation should be, backing him and be excited to watch him every Saturday as well.
Can the University of Illinois consistently win in the Big Ten?
I think so. I mean, for me, the fact that we are not as consistent as I feel we should be has always been troubling for me. I mean, you are, 2 hours, an hour and a half from Chicago. You're 2.5 hours from St. Louis. The same thing for Indianapolis. And you got three major cities within a 3-hour driving time range. So it's for me, it should be very good. There's a lot of athletes in those cities, a lot of athletes in those states. And for U of I to be successful, you got to make sure that you're getting those athletes to come to Illinois and not go to Michigan, not go to Ohio State, not go to Notre Dame. Those are the schools that are really plucking the talent out of the state of Illinois and Missouri as well. So, I think that if Illinois wants to be successful and is going to be successful, getting those states and getting those cities locked down is going to be crucial.
True or false? The SEC is greater than the Big Ten.
Here you go, man. So you moved to Tennessee for some years after you graduated from high school, and then all of a sudden you're an SEC guy. I get it. And I would say now the SEC is the elite class of college football, but I still think the Big Ten has a place in college football. And I think, Ohio State, Michigan, the way that they play football, Penn State, when they're playing well, I think that those teams are still, when they're doing their thing in recruiting and when they're playing very well, they still have a chance to compete and beat any team in the country, including those in the SEC.
So you just threw a shot. You said that I moved to Tennessee for college and then I became an SEC guy. Well, let's talk about what really made me an SEC guy. Let's go back. You had just won the Big Ten, right? This is 2001. You guys are going to play in the Sugar Bowl against LSU. So I'm in here with all my college teammates from the South, and I'm saying that Illinois going to beat LSU because I'm rolling with you because you my dog, right? I bet all of this money. It was over $1,000, I bet. All right. And LSU went out there and they took y'all to town. And that introduced me to the SEC.
Yeah, it was me too. Me too. That team was a really good football team. I believe coached by Nick Saban. They had Rohan Davey at quarterback. Dominic Davis was running the ball. I'm blanking on who the receiver was, but he had a Josh something. Josh Reed had a hell of a game. And that was a really good football team, man. So it was my introduction into the SEC as well. It was a home game. Let's be clear. We were playing in New Orleans. We were playing LSU in New Orleans. It was a home game, but that didn't have anything to do with what took place on the field. They pretty much whooped us in the first half. Second half, we picked up the pace and were able to figure some things out. But we just ran out of time. So kudos to them, man. They played a hell of a game.
Now that we sitting here talking about this, I've never asked you this before, but I did lose a lot of money that night. As a dear friend of mine who stood next to me at my wedding, do you feel like with the success you've had and the money that you made in the NFL that you should pay me back for what I lost betting on you that night?
I feel like as a college student, you just took that loss on your own, brother. I don't have nothing to help. I didn't have no money on my own. We got our little per diem and for our bowl game, and I was at the casino. So, I ain't had no money either. We both took L's that weekend.
So let's talk about the Big Ten. USC, UCLA coming into the Big Ten.
Yeah.
How do you, being an original Big Ten guy, how do you feel about that move, and do you think that's good for the league?
For me, it's it definitely breaks away from the tradition of college football, but they've kind of done away with that some years ago. So there's been a lot of transition, a lot of teams moving and going different places. I think it makes sense for the Big Ten. You have three really are the largest markets in the country. And if you want to count Rutgers in New York and the New Jersey area, you got Chicago with Illinois and Northwestern. And then you got LA with UCLA and USC. So financially and from a marketing standpoint, it makes all the sense in the world for the Big Ten to do that. I think when the conferences initially started that, the location of them, travel wasn't as easily accessible. So now it's not as big of a deal to fly across country. When I was in college, we played Cal for a game, for a road game, and they came to us the next year. So those are not as big of issues as it used to be, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Do you feel like the LA market will help recruiting in the Big Ten and opening up the Big Ten to the West Coast market?
I think it can. I mean, LA is a market that I know a lot of schools go into and some of those high profile schools, and USC getting those kids is going to be important. They're playing well right now. So getting those kids is going to be important. And just to be able to play in the Big Ten, be able to say, USC is going to play Michigan or Ohio State in any given year, or, UCLA is going to be able to fly out to Penn State and Happy Valley and be able to play in that atmosphere. I think it's just good for kids to be able to go to different places and see different things and play some of the teams that you may not have a long history with.
What is it going to take for Illinois to win the Big Ten this year?
Taking care of the football. I mean, running the football, as we talked about with Chase Brown, just taking care of the ball, running the ball, and defensively, what Ryan Walters has been doing defensively has been outstanding. He's got that defense. I think I saw they were top 3 in yards per game allowed. They're averaging, giving up 8 points a game. They are playing fantastic. And if he can continue to get those guys rolling and, moving and doing the things that they've been doing and continue to do it, they got a chance to be really, really good. So we'll see how everything plays out. But right now I'm excited. I'm an Illini to the core, man. I love all things orange and blue. So I'm excited where they are, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do this weekend. 2
things I want to ask you before we get out of here. Well, one thing I want to ask, and another thing I want you to verify.
Okay.
The first thing I want to ask you is, true or false, Dallas Cowboys greater franchise than the Pittsburgh Steelers?
What? False. Can you do math, sir? You do math pretty well. How many championships the Cowboys got?
3, 4.
It ain't 6.
It ain't 6.
That's how many the Steelers got. So there you go.
So that just ends the argument?
Yeah, we don't have to talk about nothing else. You like Michael Jordan, don't you?
I do.
Okay, he got more championships than most people, right?
So that is we're not doing Mike and LeBron. We don't have time. We have to do that another time on another day. Last thing, I've told this story to people before, and we're gonna keep it in the Big Ten. University of Nebraska alum Lawrence Phillips. I told people this story before, and I want you to verify for my listeners that this really happened. We're in high school. Lawrence Phillips is dating the sister of a close friend of ours. We wanted to meet Lawrence. She let us know that Lawrence was coming that night. He was playing at the time for the St. Louis Rams, right? We had just shaved our heads bald. Right? Just shaved our heads bald. We had a big game the next day, that Saturday, and we thought we were ready to play. We really wanted to meet Lawrence, especially you, because you were a running back. So
no question.
At the time, he was kind of like, he was the guy, right? First time we ever saw a Hummer, when he pulled up, you could hear him coming from like a mile away. Hummer. He gets out the car and he looks like Voltron, like boom, boom. His muscles everywhere. And he looked at us and said, "Y'all look stupid as hell with them bald heads."
and Smooth walked off, didn't say nothing else. Didn't wait for no response or nothing. Just kept it going.
Car. A total letdown. Get away from my car. You look stupid. Y'all gonna lose tomorrow. Would you just verify for the people that we had that encounter?
You know, they say sometimes never meet your heroes. So that may have been an instance where you should never meet your heroes. And definitely for a group of juniors in high school, meeting Lawrence Phillips in that moment was it was a little bit of a letdown, man. We was excited. We were very excited to meet him, and he just kept it moving on us.
Guys, that's all for Carey Davis. I am Coach Reed Live. You just got through listening to Real Talk with Coach Reed Live. We'll see you at the game this weekend.